ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. M has come down to stay for a few days. Sri Ramakrishna has made all arrangements for his comfortable stay. He has brought a cook with him to cook his food, and milk arrangements have been made by Sri Ramakrishna through Ramlal. And we read the Adhyatma Ramayana being read by Ramlal. We went through. As Sri Ramakrishna listened to Parashurama's hymn, he went into spiritual mood. And now and then chanted the name of Rama in his melodious voice. How he might have sung the name of Rama. How he might have called on Rama in a beautiful way. Just like Rama left the arrow with a smiling face in front of Parashurama and made him to clearly visualize, experience the Absolute in the with form. The Nirguna Nirakara is here in front of me with Saguna Sakara. How do you know? The peace he radiates, the transcendental peace, not the peace of this world. The bliss he radiates, not the pleasures of this world, not even the happiness that man gets by getting all comforts and needs fulfilled. It is transcendental bliss. The way in which everything is a play. To look is a play of expression of joy and peace. And the love, the loving eyes are pouring out love. It melts the heart of Parashurama. And he says, the infinite eternal being, imperishable, unchangeable, that is here as in the form, with form. And this makes Sri Ramakrishna enter into spiritual mood. And now and then chanted the name of Rama. All the stotras, the hymns, and all that the songs that we sing, the stutis that we make, psalms, all these are but the glory being depicted, the greatness being depicted. So did the Rama utter the name of Rama. Ramakrishna uttered the name of Rama. Then the master asked Rakal to read about Guha. Ramlal read. Then the master asked Ramlal to read about Guha. Ramlal read. Guha, the Paraya, was chief of the untouchables and an intimate friend of Rama. When Rama, Sita, Lakshmana were starting into the forest to redeem Dashratha's pledge, Guha ferried them across the river. Rama embraced Guha tenderly and told him he was going to spend 14 years in exile, wearing the bark of the trees and eating the herbs, fruits and roots that grew in the woods. He promised to visit Guha again on his way back to Ayodhya. After the period of exile was over, the Paraya king waited patiently. But when the 14th year had run out and Rama had not returned, Guha lighted a funeral pyre. He was on the point of entering it when Hanuman arrived as a Rama's messenger. In a celestial chariot, Rama and Sita soon appeared. And Guha's joy was unbounded. How they long, how a devotee longs for God, and how patiently, years after years, they wait with the assurance of God that I am going to come back on the way back to. And 14 years he gives the time. I finished my exile time of 14 years and way back. And from that day, these people keep the watch, watching the time, hour and date. As the time passes, there in Ayodhya, Bharata is waiting. Here Guha is waiting. So many sages are looking, waiting for Rama to pass through the route which they has taken to go into the forest. So all are in a tragic state. Oh, Rama has not come. Something that is, it is not worth living a moment more because for all the 14 years they are counting down the time. Countdown is going on. I had a diary. In that, usually the number of days left in the year is shown from day 1, day 2, day 3. In that, countdown was there. 365 was the first number. Last was 1. So every day it goes on. So how many days left for the year to be completed? That kind of longing we need in our spiritual life to see God. How Sri Ramakrishna used to weep and wail when the evening comes. Oh mother, one more day has gone. And death is nearing. A day more I walk towards the death. I have not seen you yet. Will I be dying a death where I have to go without seeing you, without realizing you, without knowing who am I in this body? In ignorance, in suffering, with the karmic load, what I have done, I have to carry and go ahead. So that kind of longing to see God must be there. That one more day has gone. Still you are not revealed to me. How they wait. Shabari waited for 40 years in the forest. Guha waited 14 years. Bharat is waiting for 14 years to complete. But Shabari waited for 40 years. Totapuri Maharaj, he took 40 years for his enlightenment. Gopalar Ma, 40 years, sitting alone and calling on God. How much of patience, how much of faith in the Word of God. One in Bhagavad Gita. Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee shall never perish. Claim this to the world, he says to Arjuna. And that assurance, I will never be left out. I may have to face so many difficulties, so many dangers, but Lord is with me and I will never perish. No peril can touch me. That faith in God, words of the Lord, how they value, how they preserve, how they honor, how they enshrine in the heart and live. Our life must always go around God. A devotee came. She said, Swamiji, I was a young woman. I was 26. I had finished my education and was on the way to join a job. I came to Mutt and I did not know much about the spiritual life or anything. Nor did I know what is renunciation, what is spiritual life. But when I met Ranganathananji Maharaj, the day I met, I was just standing outside. He did not know me, nor I knew him. A monk came out. Looking at me, smilingly he said, spend your life around God. Live in the world unstained. With a smiling face he went away. That transformed my whole life. He said, let your life go around God. Where does our life go? Morning getting up, our life goes around dining hall. First thing we go and even before washing the face, we go to the kitchen to load the fireplace, the stove with our food material. It is going round my small enjoyment and my life, myself as a center and all things. I have a family for me. I have kept all these things. I am earning for me. I am keeping this family for me. This I. My life is going around me. I lost that. I lost my child. I lost job. I everywhere. Now it has to be converted. You Lord, you take me. I am yours. That you must be replaced. That is the whole thing. How they enshrine God and spend their life. Getting up early in the morning, they are counting down. One more sunrise has come, Lord. 14 years after I am going to see you. One more day has come out, Lord. 13 more years are there. After a year passes, he's counting down. How much of patience, how much of tolerance, how much of evil and good and bad he has to face. How much of pain and pleasure and joys and sorrows he has to experience. Waiting. But they do. We can't sit for a few minutes calmly and think of God. Their awareness were filled all the time with divine and divine alone. Our mind is always filled with world and world alone. There must be a drastic change in our life. The paradigm must change to give us spiritual dimension to enter into. We need eternity. We need everlasting joy, momentary pleasures of life, which is going to bring suffering and bondage. We don't need. That we have seen through lives after lives, ran behind that those things. Like now, I want eternal, the unchanging, the bliss absolute. It is absolute, unchanging, absolute. So that is, absolute term is used when there is no when it is not conditional, no kind of condition, no kind of limit, no limitation. Then it is absolute. Goa's joy was unbounded. He sees he is about to jump into the fire he has created for himself. Hanuman appears and gives the information. Next moment he sees Rama and Sita coming down. After the midday meal, Sri Ramakrishna lay down on his bed to rest. M was seated on the floor. Presently, Dr. Shyama and a few devotees arrived. The master sat up on the bed and began to converse with them. Master, it is by no means necessary for a man always to be engaged in his duties. Actions drop away when one realizes God. As the flower drops off itself when the fruit appears. Oh, Sri Ramakrishna is explaining to these people, it is by no means necessary for a man always to be engaged in duties. Here it is not said about the some hours you may have to work, some hours you may have to take leisure. It is not in that sense. It drops away. Whole life you don't need to do. It's like going to school. The child is unwilling to go. But mother says, my child, you need not go to school all through the life. Look at your father. Look at your elder people around. They were all one day going to school. They finished their education. Now they have got jobs. They are working now. They are able to do so much of service. They are able to help so many people. They are able to make their own living without their stretching their hands anywhere for a morsel of food. And you have to be like that. You must be self-sufficient and be able to serve others also. Go to school now for a few days. It lasts for a few years, but rest of the life you are free. Like that. It is by no means necessary for man. Once you have finished the purpose of life, it's over. All duties and everything drops off. After realizing God, there is no more. You will be constantly in ecstatic state of divine love, loving all beings and serving as much as in your own way possible. He who has realized God no longer performs religious duties such as Sandhya. Sandhya is obligatory worship or whatever you call, the remembrance of God 3 times a day, morning, afternoon and night. Just like we take medicines. 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and that is afternoon is at noon, at sunrise, at noon, and at sunset. These are the 3 times called Sandhya. During these times, people think of God. Leave for few minutes all things and engagements and try to look into the beyond. That also you need not do because the purpose is fulfilled. In his case, the Sandhya, in his case, the Sandhya merges in Gayatri. Sandhya merges in Gayatri. Now he can do Gayatri alone. Just like I go from second grade to third grade or second standard to third standard of education, the second standard merges in. It's not going to leave me. It's not going to drop off. It remains there with me. It merges in the third grade. It is continuing. That knowledge is continuing. I am preserving it and I am renewing it. Every day when I do the calculations of third standard, of the second standard I am passing through. Sandhya merges in Gayatri. When that happens, it is enough for the person to repeat Gayatri mantra alone. When Sandhya merges, he is not able to do. His mind is constantly getting absorbed in God. Now, external worship and all is no more necessary. Then the Gayatri merges in Om. Om Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat is Gayatri mantra. It begins to Om. Om. Om itself continues now. The Tat Saviturvarenyam all drop away. His mind is getting absorbed in the reality in God at Om itself. He continues the Om now. That's our Varenyam, the word letter, verbal letter, the thought level he need not come. He is getting merged. Omkara comes in the Anahata. He has gone deep into the depths where the speech has ended. Mind is getting absorbed in the utterances of Omkara. So it merges in Om. After that, one no longer chants even Gayatri. It's enough them to chant only Om. That Om is a long, first they utter through the mouth, Om, 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 Om. It starts a kind of intoxication like that, which slowly like a spiral, it elevates the soul step by step to higher levels of consciousness. Another door opens up. Still it goes on and on. That Omkara is going on. And so after some time, another door is opening up. Another world, another realm of existence. One by one layer, they reaches ultimate. Omkara is the process of manifestation and also the process of demanifestation. Omkara is the absolute. Omkara itself brings down into manifestation. The manifestation comes, immediately Reem has appeared. Om becomes Reem. Again, Omkara again takes you back to the source from which it emerges and remerges in. he who has realized no longer performs, and ultimately only simply Om remains. How long should a man practice such devotions as the Sandhya? A man has come to stay for a few days with Master and do spiritual practices. On the first day itself, the Thakur has already done all arrangements for his cook to stay, for his cook to cook, and for milk arrangements. Everything Sri Ramakrishna has done for him to peacefully and comfortably do his spiritual practices. Now he is, after silently doing the physical part, he is now elevating his mental status to the understanding of the principles governing the spiritual life. These are all principles that govern the spiritual life. This knowledge makes him the path clear. Going begins after the path is clear. So Ramakrishna is informing, as long as he does not feel the thrill in his body and shed tears of joy while repeating the name of Rama or Hari, people worship God to win money and lawsuit. That is not good. Sri Ramakrishna is asking a question and answering it also. How long should a man practice such devotions as Sandhya? The basics. As long as he does not feel a thrill in his body and shed tears of joy while repeating the name of Rama or Hari. This is most important part. That is, when you are doing spiritual practices, that too he has come into the solitude. He is going to call on God. He has to drop away all other things and concerns now. Not even remember the family. He wanted to just spend even an hour at least. See, whenever it is possible. If it is possible, 3 days, all right, 2 days, all right, 1 day, all right, 1 hour, all right. Be yourself alone with God. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.